Hey everybody, hello you there beautiful divine being. Hope you are well today and welcome to the video. I'd like to now talk about a message I got from a friend on Facebook. She said she doesn't mind if I mention her name. Her name is Michaela Youngblood. So I'll just read what the message is. It's an interesting message. I thought I'd make a video. It's called, I was wondering what you think. Is the ego fun to experience? I don't know if you can see that or not. Is the ego fun to experience? Is it fun to put on a mask or to play the part or to label yourself? I hope that question makes sense. So it's a really good question. She's said a few things to me before in the past on Facebook and I just thought they were really fantastic questions. So I thought I'd make a little video. It's a good question. Yeah, for me I think that the ego can definitely be fun to experience. Like, it can be a lot of fun and a lot of thrill. Because with the ego there's fear and there's a caring a lot what other people think. So there's like the thrill of the game, there's the thrill of the hunt or the seeking, you know. You could be the thrill of trying to be better than other people. There's a lot of thrill in competition. Which is very often ego identified with your body and your prowess and your talents, your abilities, and you're trying to beat people and be better than the people. So we find in sport that's a very typical way. We see where people are trying to outdo and be better than others, and it's thrilling. If they're winning especially, they're enjoying it. They enjoy the challenge and maybe they definitely love the victory. What are you doing, Bev?
I was pretending to be one of those people.
Pretending to be a winner, yeah, with your arms in the air. So yeah, you know, but with this though comes an inevitable loss, because eventually you're going to get old, or you're going to get injured, or you're going to become weak, or someone better will come across you. You'll come across someone better than you. So there's definitely a duality with the ego. There'll be the up and the down, the winning and the losing, the success and the failure. And because you're so identified with your physical talents, the more unconscious you are or unaware, or more identified with the idea of who you are as like an athlete or whatever. It could be like you're identified as being a clever person, and when you're being cleverer and winning people at arguments or debates, you feel great, you feel lofty, you feel fantastic, you feel superior, you feel extra special than other people. So this is all ego, you know. But with this, there's the tinge of also the fear of the loss and the feeling empty when you lose. Sometimes feeling maybe not good enough or inferior when you lose. So with competition and sport, there's always going to be a loser, unfortunately, so to speak, on a simple, superficial description of unfortunately. People will lose and people will end up feeling upset or bad or whatever else. Maybe their self-esteem might be knocked. And this can help wake people up to not being identified with things anymore. Their skills or talents or bodies. So, is it fun to experience? It can be fun to experience the ego. Yeah, it can be fun competing. And even outside of sport now, it can be fun to have a body and to think you're the body and to have your big sense of identity of who you are as the attributes of your body, for example, or the attributes of your mind as being clever. It can be fun to, let's say, guys or girls that go out to nightclubs and they experience thrill and excitement and fun of going out, dancing and trying to catch people. Trying to catch people, trying to get somebody for you. You know, it's all with the ego. It's all about you. You care so much about yourself, and you don't really care about other people too much with the ego. You're so much caring about yourself, like caring, not in the really loving, nurturing way of caring, but you really care what other people think. And trying to get, the ego always wants to get things, more of stuff. So maybe you're trying to get somebody, you're trying to like snare a person. You're trying to get somebody to think you're amazing and marvelous and really intelligent, or really brilliant at sport, or brilliant at like brilliant looks, trying to like make yourself look all great with clothes or makeup, or trying to make yourself look all muscular and pretty or slim, etc. So this can be fun. It's a chase. It's really all about chasing, because the ego is always in a place of needing and wanting, and this is the chase. You're trying to get what you really want and need. It's attachment. But with attachment comes the fear of losing, or the fear of not getting what you want. So there's always the pervading subtle energy of feeling weak, or possibly becoming weak, or somebody finding out that you're weak, or somebody thinking that you're weak or not special, etc. So there's always a duality, you know. On one hand, you could be good, you could win, the next moment you can lose. The one hand, somebody could think, 5 people could think you're amazing, or thousands of people could think you're amazing, but then a few people are critics and criticizing you, or not thinking you're too good. And this will hurt your ego. It'll upset you, and you'll be angry at people who are saying bad things about you. So for sure, the ego can be a whole lot of fun. And let's see what else. Lovely Michaela, hi. What else she says? Is it fun to put on a mask and like to play the game of like the label? Yeah, it's the same. You'll still be suffering from being attached. Let's say the label, the mask. That's again the idea or the concept or the feeling of who you believe and feel yourself to be. It can be fun. It's all about showing off with the ego, demonstrating yourself, looking to striving and stressing and striving to appear better than other people. You're trying to be better than other people. It's all about competition with the ego. Even in an ordinary daily life, outside of competition and outside of sport, in daily life with the ego, it's all about being better than others, extra special, even extra sick. There's so much ego and identification with sickness and illness or injury with the ego. The poor me, I'm extra sick than you. Poor me, I'm this person who's been sick for so long and I've had this injury or this illness. It's awful, and then you start complaining about it, and your whole life is all about your injury or sickness or unwellness, or your unfortunateness. Let's say you lost your money, you lost your house, you lost your savings. Some of those things, it's all about the story in your head. You're thinking this is who you are. You're talking about this regularly, thinking about this regularly. So this is like the mask in a way. This can be one of your masks or one of the labels, like became bankrupt, I'm sick, got diabetes, had cancer, lost my leg, whatever. It's like the answer before. It can be fun, but it can be also very sad and lonely and upsetting too. So the ego likes to feel special, so I wouldn't really call it too much fun, but you feel superior by being extra special if you're extra sick, extra injured, extra unfortunate. The ego just loves to be extra special, basically, to stand out or to be better in some way, even if it's like an unfortunate thing like being sick. It likes to be more sick than other people. A harder life than other people. You see people who've had tough lives, sometimes they keep going on about it all the time. They're identified and invested in this image of themselves. So it's kind of funny, but that's just okay. That's just the ego, unconsciousness. The more aware and awake you become, the less you're interested in competition and being better and extra special than other people in some way or another. The less duality of ups and downs you go in life, you're just more of a stable peace, a stable happiness, a stable contentment and joyfulness, a stable appreciation. So you're not really super duper like maybe happy or super duper peaceful, and then you go down. You're just, it's more stable the more moments of wakefulness and consciousness you have. the less judgment you have, and the less resistance you have, and the less attachment you have. So the more aware you are, the less judgments, attachments, resistance, and identifications you have. And the less of these you have, the less emotional suffering you have, mental suffering. So let's see if what else. Such a good question. So Michaela and watching, and you watching right now, if you're not Michaela, this is a good thing to think about, isn't it? A good question. And with the ego, there's a lot of suffering overall. There's a lot of conflict and fighting with people, a lot of sadness and loneliness and anger and stuff. So it's all because of what I said before: judgments, resistance, attachments, and identifications. Those four things. So, so there you go. I have other videos about just overcoming these things and becoming more aware of them. And then you see how your life is being controlled and dictated by your own ego, the four things. So let me ask you, like, what do you think? What would be your thoughts on the question? Is the ego fun to experience? And putting on a mask or playing the part or the label? Playing the label. For me, it's a shallow existence. It's fine. I'm not trying to say it's intrinsically bad, but for me, it's a bit not my preference. I wouldn't really like to be the way I was before, when I had much more ego, much more of those four things I mentioned. Life isn't as nice at all. Like, just I'm much more aware now than I was 5 years ago, and I just don't really suffer anymore. Never really suffer, really. The odd moment of feeling a bit sensitive, maybe, yeah, but rarely, almost never. It's much nicer to be always in a state of peace, and almost always, the more is the better. Like I remember when I first started learning with these things that I mentioned here: attachments, resistance, judgments, and identifications, and the mind, and how my thoughts affected me emotionally. I remember thinking I felt an awesome deep peace that was unbelievable, that I never felt before. It was amazing. I just felt so good in life, so relieved and happier. But now I don't feel that ever, more or less. It's kind of funny. And the reason is like I'm always like that now. But before I was really like suffering mentally and emotionally. I was upset and everything else, and I was anxious sometimes. Had a lot of suffering going on. But it's like going it's like going from a hot shower. It's like going from a cold bath into a hot shower. It feels lovely and warm and hot. But if you're always in a warm shower, you don't really notice it too much anymore. You're just always in a warm shower, and that's like the way I am in peace now. But when you're in the suffering of the cold, icy waters, and then suddenly you become more aware and you stop. Your mind isn't creating problems and suffering anymore as much. It's like you're in a warm shower, and now you really totally notice the shower, the warmth and the difference. So back then I totally noticed the difference, and I felt, oh, this piece is amazing. I'll never be the same again, and I'm so like, this is unbelievable, hard, kind of like indescribable. But now I'm just kind of always like that, and it's just like my ordinary way of existence, and I don't really think about it or notice or think I'm all peaceful. But it's when I have a moment of non-peace, or if I see other people suffering, if I happen to have my own experience of sadness or non-peace, then I realize I'm really lucky and blessed. So there you go. Have one other thing before I go. I just say, have fun with the ego. Don't take it too seriously. Just silently watch and listen to your thoughts and see your thoughts, the images and the pictures in your head. It's not you. You're the one who's watching your thoughts. It's like the way if you watch me, this isn't who you are. So you're not going to take me. If I say something about you like you're silly, or you won't necessarily take me too seriously. But if you hear your own thought saying you're silly, I'm silly, like if you're silly, your thought says you're silly. A lot of people take it very seriously. the thoughts only have power over us when we're not really aware of them, or if we give them too much power and meaning. So just view your thoughts like, some people say, like a child is the best thing. It's just like, it's like watching a movie. Don't take them too seriously, then they don't have control and power over you. Just notice it. It's a repetitive conditioned thought, and then once you see that, you don't give it the power over you anymore. You can smile at the thought. You can say, "Jeepers, that's a funny thought," and even thinking that thought is just another thought for you to be aware of. That's just another thought to be aware of. So just be the silent, non-commentating watcher. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it made a bit of sense to you. It brought a bit of enjoyment or fun or help into your life. And may you have a lovely day and a nice experience of life. Letting your inner child run free, be happy and enjoy life, not to take any of this stuff too seriously at all in the slightest bit. And just enjoy life more, and to smile more and be a little bit more playful and jolly. Okay, thanks for your company, and I'll see you again another time. See ya, thanks, bye.